Hey guys, D22167 here. I'm back, and today, in this video, I'm going to try and do something different. I am going to try to start up a new series that I've been trying to start up for a long time now, but every time I have fully edited it, fully recorded the video, but I just haven't been happy with it. And this is going to be, hopefully, the last time that I try and start up this clip, or whatever, this series. And hopefully it'll be successful this time. So a while back, and the community manager for Minecraft, Aubrey Norris, said on Twitter that there are a lot of new players coming into the game, and that it would be really helpful for them in order to be able to understand different things about the game, because I could understand that if I walk into something new and I don't know anything about it, I will probably want to try and find something out. And so I wanted to try that. And so this is like the fourth time I'm recording this over a multiple month period, but hopefully it works out this time. So let's get right into the video. Alright, now we are in. Now, quickly, before this video starts, this series, I am going to be calling it Minecraft Basics 101. There's going to be 3 different, individual parts of this series that I am going to be doing, and hopefully you guys enjoy, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So, for this episode, because this is one of the hardest things for a lot of people to understand, we're going to be starting off with Minecraft Basics 101. But this time we're going to be starting off with the redstone. So, redstone itself, to some may seem easy, to others may seem very difficult. But I'm here to make it so that everyone has a base understanding. So to start off, we have standard redstone. Redstone dust, as some people call it, regular redstone. This is what controls everything. This is the base of almost every single redstone contraption that you will see. So the main way of finding redstone is by coming down, going deep into the mines, and mining it with a pickaxe. A standard piece of redstone should drop around 4 to 5 redstone dust when mined, although when mining, it cannot be mined with a stone pickaxe, as you can see. It must be mined with an iron or diamond pickaxe. Now, redstone cannot be mined with a stone pickaxe, as it just breaks. It does not drop anything. If you have a diamond, gold, or iron pickaxe, you are then able to mine iron, and it will drop roughly 4 to 5, depending on that. Now, you can increase the level of redstone by applying a fortune enchantment to the pickaxe. There are 3 different levels of fortune. Fortune 1, Fortune 2, and Fortune 3, and the higher the level, the higher amount of redstone you will get per block broken. Now, another source of gaining redstone is when a witch is killed, and it can drop 0 to 6 redstone when it dies, although it will not always drop redstone. It can drop other items such as glowstone dust or sugar in place of it. Now, this can be increased by using a looting sword on the witches. Redstone can also be obtained in a furnace by smelting the ore. It takes, for every redstone ore you smelt, you obtain 1 redstone. And so it is quite inefficient compared to regular mining. Now, redstone can be crafted into multiple different items. Now, redstone can be placed along the ground, just like this, and it will travel in a line, and it will connect to other pieces put next to it. It can go in all 4 directions, and it can also travel upwards on blocks and downwards on blocks, just like that. And that is quite easy to deal with that way. Now, redstone on its own, placed normally like this, is off, as it's called. It's not being powered. When I add in a power source, such as a lever, which is made by putting 1 piece of cobblestone below a stick, makes 1 lever, I can place it down next to the redstone and turn it on, which will then connect all of the redstone, turning it on. Now, the redstone signal cannot travel infinitely. It can travel a maximum of 15 blocks before it runs out, and as it goes along, its brightness decreases, as you can see. Whenever it is on, it does give out particle effects, and it also produces a small amount of light. But when it gets over to a certain point, it cuts off entirely and just remains unpowered. This right here is power. As you can see, it's a little bit brighter than this, and it produces particles. This and all of these do not have any particles. Now you can repower it and add it on again, but by doing so, you're not really doing anything. In that case, a good option might have just been take out all of this and then build it on from there. And so that brings us to our next contraption. The redstone repeater is a small block that looks, as it appears, has two sticks pointing out of the top and an arrow pointing in the direction that it is facing. Every time it is interacted with, this back stick will move one back, adding a tick of delay. Now, how repeaters work is that it repeats the signal. So, as I mentioned, this is on, this is off. But if I replace that piece with a repeater, then the repeater turns on and it repeats the signal. And so, down here, over by the level, this piece has a signal strength of 50, whereas down here, this signal strength has a signal strength of 1. The piece that was previously here had a signal strength of 0, therefore it was unpowered. But by connecting a powered piece into the back of a repeater, then pointing the front of the repeater out into more redstone, it repeats the signal, and therefore this piece of redstone now has a signal strength of 15, and it can carry on for another 15 blocks. However, every time a repeater is added into a circuit, it adds 1 tick of delay. Now, in the game runs on ticks. It runs at a rough 20 ticks per second, and that is basically just how things in the game are processed. They are processed in ticks. Now, a redstone tick and a game tick are two very different things. A redstone tick runs at roughly 10 ticks per second, whereas a game tick runs at around double at 20 ticks per second. And so, whenever a repeater is put into the mix, it adds in a 2 game tick delay or 1 redstone tick delay, but every time it is interacted with, it will add in another tick of delay. So here, this has a 2 tick delay. This has a 3 tick delay, and this has the maximum setting, a 4 tick delay. When it's on 4 tick delay and is interacted with, it goes back to a 1 tick delay. Now, the repeating portion of it is very useful in itself, and the ability to add in delay is also quite useful, as certain contraptions need to have delay before they can activate themselves. Now, as mentioned earlier, a lever is a power source. And every time I interact with it, it will either turn the signal on or turn the signal off. But there are also other power sources, one of those being the redstone torch. Now, the redstone torch is made in a crafting table or your crafting inventory. Now, a redstone torch is crafted by putting a stick just below a piece of redstone dust to make 1 torch. Now, a redstone torch acts very similarly to a lever, although every time I interact with it, it does nothing. It will constantly be on, but it works in the exact same way as a lever would. However, if I power the block that the torch is standing on, which happens to be this block, then by using a lever, if I power it, it will then turn off this torch, leading the rest of the string to be off. And this is very powerful as it inverts the signal, or creates an opposite signal. Now, whenever it does this, so right now this lever is off, but the torch is on. If I turn the lever on, then the torch turns off, and therefore it's opposite of what the lever is. Now, this is what is called a NOT gate. It basically means that it is exactly opposite of the inputted signal. Now, the next contraption I'd like to show you is the Redstone Block. This is a item that is crafted in the crafting table by placing 9 pieces of redstone dust in order to create a block of redstone. Now, not only is this very good for storing redstone, as it allows for compact things, so I had nearly a stack of redstone, but now I only have 5 redstone blocks. So it's very good for storing mass amounts of redstone dust. Now, another thing that you can do with it is you can put it back into a crafting table and reconvert it back into a standard redstone. And you can do this infinite amount of times, and it will always be the same. So it's very useful in that sense. Now, the redstone block functions similarly to the torch, where whenever you place it down, it is always on, and it will travel the exact same distance. However, what's different about this is that no matter how I power this redstone block, the signal will always be on. You cannot turn a redstone block off. It is just physically impossible in order to do that. Now, unlike a redstone torch, the redstone block can power all faces. It powers itself on all faces. So, no matter which side you put it on, it will power that redstone. Top, bottom, and all of the 4 sides will be powered. However, with a redstone torch, it can only power the 4 sides, as I can't place a piece of redstone on top of it, and if I try and place it under it, it breaks the block. Now, you might think, okay, well then just go 1 block deeper. That does not power it. Now, a redstone torch under no circumstances can power below it when placed normally but if you place a block on top of it, and then place a piece of redstone, the top of the torch is powering this block, and therefore this redstone is able to be powered. Now, a torch can indeed can power something below it if you place it on the side of a block rather than on the front of a block. And by doing this, it allows the signal to pass through it and down to the bottom. This will act similarly to the redstone block in the sense that now, as long as there is a block on top of it, it will power the redstone on top. Now, as you might have noticed, whenever I place this block on top of the torch, the redstone line flashed for a long time and then it will turn off. This is called a burnout clock. And what it does is that whenever the block is placed on top, it will power the block above it, powering this redstone, but then this redstone powers this block and turns off this torch. And it will just be an infinite cycle. But by doing that, the game recognizes that that's happening, and rather than just having it an infinite loop, it just stops it after roughly 8 pulses, and then it turns off entirely. So now, if I go down here, it is completely off. Now, every time that I update the block by, say, placing something next to it or breaking something, it will update it and it will start off. But that could honestly be very useful in many different scenarios. Now, the next 2 things I want to show you are the stone button and the wooden button. Now, the wooden button comes in all different forms of wood, whereas the stone button only comes in stone. Now, there are 2 big differences to them: the look of them and the pulse of them. How these work is whenever I interact with it, it will go down for a small amount of time and then pop back up. And so if I place that next to a piece of redstone and I power it, then it will turn on, the redstone will turn on temporarily and then turn off afterwards. Now, the difference between them is that if I just take a little bit of redstone here and I just string that out, I put a wooden button there and a stone button there. If I press the stone button, it's on for a small amount of time, whereas if I press the wooden button, it's on for significantly longer. I will have the time codes to how long they stay on up on the screen now. Now, these can be very useful if you just want to send in a short little pulse just like that in order to activate something, and so that it's not always on or off. It's on and then it's off shortly afterwards. Now, you can spam the button and it will turn off temporarily, but in that sense, you might be better off placing down something like a redstone block or a torch or a lever or something similar if you need it to be powered on like that. Now, another thing that you can do is if you have a bow or the new crossbow, what you can do is you can charge up the crossbow, load it up, and you can shoot the buttons. Now if I take this new crossbow and I shoot it directly at the button, as you can see it hits it, it's going straight into it, but unfortunately it does nothing. But if I take the exact same thing and I shoot the wooden button, if I come over here, you can actually see that the wooden button is getting pressed in. So if I grab it, it will actually go off for a little bit. And it works the exact same way with the normal bow as well. So the crossbow doesn't have any special abilities when it comes to that thing. And that basically wraps it up for the first episode of Minecraft Basics 101. In this episode, we looked over the most basic of redstone components. In the next episode, we'll go over some of the more advanced components, and then in the episode after that, we will likely look at different circuits that you can use some of these features with. So yeah, without further ado, that's about it for all of this that I had for this video. If you have enjoyed, please comment down below that you did. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't like it. I really enjoyed listening to your feedback. Without further ado, bye!